Yeah, so I wanted to have another discussion, and this time I want to talk about knowing that you are not this body. And I want to talk about it because I've just recently learned how to separate myself from this limiting, you know what I'm saying, this body, this physical shell. So as I was going through the process, the journey, I noticed that it's all mental. And we say this all the time, like, oh, it's mental, it's mental. But when we saying it's mental, in a way, we're using mental in a derogatory sense, because oftentimes when we're making these phrases, it's in reference to like a hardship we're going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, a nigga fucking with you, and you just be like, oh, it's mental, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you good, be strong. But no, it's really mental. And I'm gonna say it this way. I'm gonna say what I'm saying in a different way for those who may not quite understand what I'm trying to say. We're spiritual beings. You're a spirit. I don't subscribe to this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this again for those who are hard of hearing. I don't subscribe to this ideology or belief system, but I'm gonna say it. So for those who would say, oh, you die, when you die you go to heaven. Well, as far as these physical eyes can see, you know that when a person's physical, you know what I'm saying, the body dies, we putting it in the ground. So that means when you make the statement that when you die and go to heaven, you're automatically admitting that we're not this physical shell, we're a spirit, right? So now that we got that out the way, think of it like that, a spirit. Now, when you say spirit, some people think of a spirit in the form, F-O-R-M, form, or the image of a ghost, of what we have been programmed, or what we know, what we seen a ghost to be or resemble. You know what I'm saying? And what we collectively agree on ghost meaning, whatever. You feel me? Now, my beliefs are a little different. I don't know for fact, you know what I'm saying? Because no one knows for fact. No one's been there. No one's come. People have stories, but you don't know. You hear these stories, but yet you still scared. So let's get the bullshit out the way. You feel me? Let's not pretend. You still scared, even though people come back and say it's a heaven, and you say you part of a belief system or faith, and you still scared. So because no one really knows, you know what I'm saying? And fear is just a limitation. So now, we're conscious beings, we're spirits, and we have to recognize that we get too caught up in what we're seeing, which would just be the shell. You feel me? So not only are we getting caught up in what we're seeing, and let's just think about it on the spectrum of, hold on. So yeah, from the spectrum of, lost my train of thought, man. So yeah, I was saying, yeah. So let's think about it in the perspective of just communicating, period. Communication, period. You know, and when you say communication, it's not only verbally, right? Verbally is words coming out, right? Words coming out. This is verbal. Now, if we're not communicating verbally, this is what will happen. Now, some motherfucker might laugh and be like, what the fuck? But if you're really listening, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. We've lost contact with our spiritual form. We've lost contact with it. And we've lost contact with it not only through, because now we've lost contact with it through being only receptive to communication through words and not energy. We've also lost contact with our spiritual self because we've subscribed to belief systems, and not that there's anything wrong with subscribing to a belief system, because I have my belief system that I subscribe to, but we're not open to other people's point of view on life. And those of us who are open, peace, you feel me? That's love. But we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves because we're not thinking as spiritual beings. We still have that consumer mindset limitation. Like it's quite a bit. But I would say one thing that helped me with freeing myself from being too attached to my body is an exercise that I do. And it's uncomfortable. These are things, you know, that we see on TV and we get desensitized to it. And we're seeing it, and the desensitization is just a word. You have to really think about the meaning behind being desensitized to something, because if you, let me see how I can put this. We see images on TV, in movies, of people getting their brains blown out, people being cut in half. We watch thrillers, we watch scary movies, and it makes us uneasy while we're watching it. And whoever it does, whatever else it does, that's you, but that ain't my thing, you feel me? So it exudes certain emotions, excuse me. So we watch these images and we know that we're spirits, and not one time while we watching these movies do we think, so what happened to that person's spirit? Think about that for a second. Some of us don't. And it's like, what kind of question is that? But that shows you how desensitized we are. Because while you're watching that, if you put that much for lack of better terms, like if you put that much emphasis, if you get that caught up in the physical, and when you're seeing it and that's your reality, the physical and not the spirit, and you seeing that physical body being damaged like that, that should do something to you. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of us are walking around mindless. We're not in tuned with our spiritual selves, because it's just like, if we really believe in something and you really stand for something, I'm not talking about your favorite artist beefing and that's who you siding with. No, it's more to life than that. And the more to life than that is you. That's it. Period. With a fucking DT at the end. You feel me? And an exclamation mark. Like, period. It's you. Concentrate on you. And not concentrate on you like, oh, fuck everybody, I ain't fucking with a nigga. No. Concentrate on being mindful. Concentrate on being mindful, man. Concentrate on being mindful. What is mindful? Well, my definition of mindful is, and to each person, man, is their own. Like, if a nigga evil and that's their path that they choose, that don't mean it gotta be a hell. Whatever his consequences is in life, that's his consequences. But don't tell me he going to hell. Don't do that. But I'm getting into something else. But yeah, mindfulness for me is knowing who you are, like knowing and standing for something. Like if you know that you believe that you're a conscious being and nobody can hold you back, and you gotta have your man, live like that, my nigga. Live like that. You feel me? Live like that. No matter what the fucking consequences is, live like that. Stand for something. Don't stand for fuckery, my nigga. Stand for something. You feel me? And I feel like if we all just practice being mindful, that shit would just be a lot different. And a lot of the issues that we have, a lot of the fucking stress that we experiencing, we wouldn't even be fucking going through. Let that shit ride. But yeah, man, you gotta be mindful, my G. You gotta be mindful. You have to. That had to go by because I was getting too passionate, I guess, you know. But it has to be said, man, because a lot of us, we just run around here saying shit and just, it's fucking insanity. We talk about insanity all the fucking time, but we're living in insanity if you really fucking think about it. We living in fucking insanity. Cause we sit around and we complain about the same shit. We wanna say, man, slavery was 300 years ago, 400 years ago, what the fuck you want number you wanna put on it? You wanna sit here and say this shit, but still sit here and be like, we in a compromising position. We still subjugated. And we don't want to do shit different. We just want to, man, that's just how it is. Let's just keep having the same conversation over and over. Nothing ain't going to happen. We just going to talk amongst each other. Don't you think it's time for something else? You feel what I'm saying? So a motherfucker not going to tell me what's going on in my community because I'm sitting around and I'm observing the shit. I'm hearing the conversations that's being had. I'm seeing the shit for myself. And I love my community this much to come on here and say this shit. You feel me?